Recording in progress.
All right. All right. Welcome to another episode of Drop Third Strike with myself, Terry Gant in Chicago, Illinois, and my podcast partner, Beth Davy Stofka in Denver, Colorado.
Well, hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, Beth.
Hello, Terry.
All right. The thing that I found out that was amazing is, did you know the other day, there's a rookie pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks who's done a thing that I've never heard of done in my lifetime. I don't think this thing has ever happened in my lifetime. A rookie pitcher in his first major league start threw a no-hitter.
Yes.
Like, holy crap, how cool is that?
That is the coolest.
That is about the most, it started me on a path of like things I wouldn't want to happen if I were a Major League Baseball player. That might be near the top of my list, right? Because once that happens, and usually what I've noticed with Major League Baseball pitchers, MLB pitchers who throw no-hitters, their next start sucks. Yeah. Almost everyone bombs. It seems like they bomb. They just blow it their next start because it's like the best you could possibly be and the best your defense could be happened all at the same time on the same day. You want to duplicate it. Everybody wants to duplicate it, but almost no one can duplicate that. Like Nolan Ryan can duplicate it, right? Almost nobody else can do it. I would not want to be a major league pitcher who threw a no-hitter on my first major league start because my next major league start can't possibly be that good.
Right.
I don't want to like come out of the gate being Greg Maddux and then find out that I'm actually Mike Maddux, right? That worries me. I don't know if I could like suddenly go up there and I'm like Garrett Cole, like day one. Here you are, you're Garrett Cole, and it turns out no, you're not Garrett Cole. You know, like you are just, man. Throughout the course of your career, you might be just hoping to hang on as a fifth starter somewhere. I mean, I wouldn't be thinking that I'm a fifth starter if I'm going to be a major league pitcher. I'm going to think my brain, maybe I'm an ace or a number two, right? I'm a good pitcher is what I'm thinking. But if the first start you make is a no-hitter and you're not Yu Darvish, this is going to be a hard year. Like it might take like a few years to get past it, right? It might be like, all right, yeah, you know, I'm that guy who like threw a no-hitter on my first time out, but like, you know, now I'm a pitcher. I'm a good pitcher. I can survive here. Maybe I'm a number three starter, and I'm going to be a trivia question for the rest of my career. That's fine, but I have a good career. But what if it turns out that everyone is just waiting for me to duplicate that performance and that level of pressure hits me? That's hard. And I mention it because I remember one Cubs opening day, like, you know, I don't know, probably 15 years ago now, a long time ago, Carl Tuffy Rhodes was a rookie for the Chicago Cubs. And this kid hit 3 home runs on opening day. And I remember the scramble for people to pick him up on their fantasy teams because they thought this guy was like a powerhouse. They thought he was just going to mash all year long. And it turned out he was just a rookie hitter, right? Like once they started throwing him breaking balls, everything changed. Yes, they had no book on him because he was a rookie. And they threw fastballs trying to throw smoke past him and they couldn't. He hit 3 home runs and that never happened again. He ended up finishing up his career in Japan. That is, from his perspective, I imagine, what a great day, but also the weight of that. Because now you have you at least want to hit like a couple home runs a week, right? Like you want to stick. And when it turns out that it's hard for you to even get base hits, you know, once people realize where the hole in your swing is, they just remember, 3 home runs on opening day doesn't mean anything. That seems like almost tragic. The other thing I wouldn't want to be, I'm watching MLB Network now, right? But like they're doing MLB Tonight, so like they're jumping around the games. Every time Miguel Cabrera comes with a bat, they switch to show his at bat because he's on 499 home runs, right? And he's pitching. It looks like he's pitching against Triston McKenzie, the really super tall, lanky pitcher for the
very skinny guy.
Yeah, very very skinny pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. And I'm just, as much as all these people want to see Miguel Cabrera hit his 500 home run, I don't. I'm rooting for Tristan Mckenzie, so it's not him. Because I don't want to be the guy. I never want to be the guy who gave up somebody's like milestone homer.
Yeah.
Right? I'd rather be the guy who disappointed everyone in the stadium so they didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
No way, buddy. You got to get it off somebody else tomorrow. I can't have you hit that home run off of me. Okay. Not a chance. Would not want to do it. Because as much as I might like to see history, like I was watching, I was like, man, it'd be cool if I could see Miguel Cabrera hit his 500 run. But then when I saw the picture, I was like, but what if I was the pitcher? Mm-hmm. Screw that. Is your team thinking about it like, man, let's be a bunch of good sports. This dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Let's get him his 500. No, this is a competitive game. We're all playing here. We all want to win. Screw that. If he's going to hit a home run, he's going to have to hit a damn home run, fair and square. I'm not grooving him anything. I'm not throwing him a damn thing to hit, personally. I might even hit the guy. I might hit him in his big butt just to put his ass on first base. I'm not letting him hit a home run on me. No, not a chance. I want no parts of that at all. I don't want to give up your 500 home run. I don't want to give up your 5,000, 3,000 hit. Whatever it is going to cement it, to make it absolutely you're a Hall of Famer. This is going to get you in. I don't want my name attached to it. I might hit you in the ankle to put you on first base.
There has to be an unwritten rule that you do not hit a hitter in the butt when he's at 499 home runs. You just don't do that.
I'm going to get somebody to yell at me because I'm hitting you right in the butt. Every time you come up, I'm hitting you in the butt. I am not at all about to give you a home run. You are not. You will go in the record books as the most hit in the butt in one game player, but you're not getting a home run. You're not getting a record on me. I can't do it. No, I don't. Like if I weren't playing, I'd be like, holy shit, that was cool. We just watched our opponent. He's a good guy. Everybody loves this dude. He's been in the game for like 20 some odd years. Look at him go ahead and trot around the base with his 500 home run. But if I were pitching to him, hell no, not a chance.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it.
What if you threw him just make it easy and just give him his 500th home run and then you'd be that guy?
But that'd be part of the problem, right? People would wonder, did I just throw him a gopher ball? Did I throw him a gimme? Did I help him out? Right? To me, he got 499 home runs. He can get a 500. He doesn't need my help. Yeah. He can get some of the problem is that he's been in the game so long, he's so old, and he might have years we don't even know about, right? That there's a question of, will he play next year, right? Yeah. Will he come back next year? He's getting paid quite a bit, right? So I bet the Tigers would like his money to come off the books in their rebuilding. You know what I mean? I bet they like that. Yeah. But they're not gonna retire the dude if he didn't need another home run for the rest of the year. They're not gonna retire that man at 499 home runs.
No.
That would be kind of like what happened to Rafael Palmeiro. To me, Rafael Palmeiro got kind of pushed out of the game, and he was very close to some no doubter milestones. So I felt kind of bad for Rafael Palmeiro. I didn't think Rafael Palmeiro needed to use performance-enhancing drugs. He was such a good hitter.
Exactly. Exactly.
He was so solid. So I'm pretty sure they don't want that to happen to Cabrera. So I'm betting they would bring him back just to see him get his 500 home run. I've seen that with other players. It's happened. When it's a bad idea to bring them back because you don't need that guy taking up a roster space, but you want to see him get the milestone. I want him to get it before the end of the year. I just don't want him to get it on me.
Doesn't Miguel Cabrera have another milestone rocking too, 3,000 hits or something like that?
He's very close to 3,000 hits.
Yeah. So I think for both those
he's within 20 something, I think, or maybe 30 something hits.
Yeah, because I was looking at that and wondering whether he could do that this season. And it's possible and yet not a given. So
right.
Yeah, he needs to play next year.
Right. Given his batting average, and his propensity to actually try to get home runs, right? He is swinging for the fence. He's not hitting for contact, right? And I bet if more of these guys hit for contact, they'd find themselves looking at 3,000 hits more often than not.
That's true.
But
I'm thinking for Cabrera, maybe he comes back next year by the All-Star break. Somebody does something with him like they did with Pujols, like the Dodgers did with Pujols.
Yeah.
And Cabrera goes and becomes somebody's uncle.
Yes.
Uncle Miguel.
Does Miguel Cabrera get traded for a bag of baseballs in order to just go hang out in San Diego?
Yeah, there you go.
Think of the contending teams that Miguel Cabrera could actually enjoy himself just hanging out in, right? Could he the Braves don't have room because the Braves have a whole bunch of guys now who are supposed to actually be good hitters who are kind of okay hitters, right? They traded for a lot at the trade deadline. To me, they made a bunch of I just saw Jorge Soler is in Atlanta now.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like you traded for Adam Duvall, Jorge Soler, and Jock Peterson.
Yeah.
But a lot of that is because like Ronald Acuna is injured, right?
Yeah,
So
they had
like
to
you
do
don't know when
whatever
he's
they
coming back.
could.
Yeah.
Now I'm putting Cabrera on the Marlins.
Yeah, it seems like it ought to be a coastal team is what I was thinking. Because I was thinking of the Reds. The Reds popped into my head.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, he's not going to enjoy them. He's already languished in Detroit. Why do we want to go to Cincinnati?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, I think the players as I understand them when I watch them play, and the players who are the Miami Marlins, right? Miami still.
Yeah.
Would just love being around Miguel Cabrera, and he would so love being around them. That would be like a happy situation.
Or Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Like I think he'd like Tampa Bay. Both of those, like the Marlins are better than people think anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like they're shockingly good.
Exactly.
Right? And the Rays will be in first place probably again next year.
Yeah.
So send him there to get his milestone hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Either way, I mean, it's just but yeah, I'm putting him on the Marlins. If I get to decide this, then Cabrera goes to the Marlins, and there's just that dugout will just overflow with joy because they will all just love each other so much. They will love him. He will
overflowing with joy.
Yeah, and I like that. I want to see that. I always want to see that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this conversation about our young D-backs pitcher, you already stirred up 3 questions that I want to ask you.
Okay.
And what's the thing about it is that there are 3 White Sox related questions, and we are not a White Sox podcast. We have to reiterate that.
We're not a White Sox podcast.
And I have proof because we have actually discussed Tristan Mckenzie before. I don't know how many podcasts would discuss
Tristan Mckenzie is one of my favorite pitchers, and he's not super successful just yet. I think next year is really his breakout year. Like, I think this is his second year. This is the second full year in the league. So I think next year's probably his year, right?
Yeah.
But I love this kid. One, he's just a tall, baby-faced looking kid.
I know.
But he's also the player who, when he made his first start, isn't he the guy whose AAA teammates came and they sat in the parking lot across the street to cheer him on? Do you remember this?
No, but I remember you telling me about it the other time we talked about him on our podcast. So it makes me very proud that Tristan McKenzie shut up twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His buddies came to watch him make his major league start.
Yeah.
And they couldn't come into the stadium because it was COVID. So it had to be like only people on the approved list. So they drove up from AAA and all hung out in the parking lot, the parking garage across the street with signs so that they could like cheer him on. And I thought, that's fucking cool. Like, you have that kind of, your friends from AAA, you're such a good guy to them that they're like, we're not going to miss it. Like, they're in AAA, right? They're waiting for their chance. They drove up to see it.
Yeah.
Wonder if Wander Franco's friends drove up to see him, make his first major. Maybe they did. I don't know. But like, I don't know who else has ever done that. Like, I haven't heard about it. So I was very excited.
No, it's a great story. I'm sure there are stories like that, but they got highlighted because of COVID. They just really stood out. I mean, usually these guys, that's kind of one of the things that made everybody so sad. The hundreds of things that made everybody so sad about COVID was that these guys didn't even get to have their mom and dad there.
Right.
It means a lot to a lot of these guys to have their mom and dad there. So that was amazing what happened to him. The first time I saw him pitch, I hadn't intended to. He happened to be pitching when I was tuned in to see the team he was pitching against. And I just was like, dude, stop throwing that curveball, because he was getting hit and he kept throwing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your curveball's not making it, buddy.
Yeah.
Go to your slider.
Well, not that day, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You have to say this isn't working, but
that curveball's not curving nearly enough.
I don't think you should wait to give up 8 hits before you rule it out for the next 2 batters, right? So, but hey, like you said, he was new, he was young, and he was putting it together. I just wonder, do you think he needs to put on a little more muscle?
I think yes, but there's also a thing where part of the problem is he's so tall, and like getting in the weight room is a thing a lot of players ought to do, but since I've learned that baseball players are so damn superstitious about their routines that I think that it's hard to get people to make these adjustments, right? I think that he wears down because he doesn't have enough muscle on him, and it's gonna have to be like the right manager and strength and conditioning coach to kind of like get him to add something.
Yeah.
Right. To get him to add something. We're not trying to turn you into like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, we don't need you to be built like John Lester. right? We just might need you to add 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? We might need that.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of thing is the issue here.
And it might be hard for him to do.
He's very young and he probably burns off everything he eats.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for all we know, he is really, pigging out every time we're looking at him, but yeah, he's very young. And I'm with you, and I'm really hoping for next year. I'm hoping for great things overall for the Tigers next year, because every time I watch them play, it's really fun. And that's not normal for a team that isn't winning a lot. Normally, for a team that isn't winning a lot, you're just kind of like, and they drag and they're boring. And that's why, I really don't like watching the D-backs, just because basically to me, it's not that they're a losing team, it's that they are boring to watch.
Right.
And the Tigers, no. Every time I tell the Tigers, it's like, wow, and
yeah. it's that with both teams, what it is, it feels like you are two more exciting rookies away from getting everybody to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yes.
The Tigers have I like a Jeimer Candelaria and I like a Kill Badu, but Jeimer Candelaria has been there now a good 5 years, right? Now we need it's time for some kids to come up and get some playing time.
Yeah.
Who just run all over the damn field like there's no tomorrow, because that's basically what you've been prepping for. While you've been all as terrible as you've been, and the same with the Diamondbacks. You've been this terrible. You've been prepping for something. You may as well get those kids off the farm and just get them up on your major league team now.
Right.
I'd rather you let's see you fail with some kids who have a million years ahead of them,
right?
Than roll out the guys you've been rolling out there who you've been stinking with.
And the thing about Candelaria, you can tell that he's their veteran, and only 5 years, and that's pretty amazing. So, Cabrera obviously, but Cabrera's more there to hit, whereas. The first time I saw the Tigers play this season, I really just wanted to watch the Mariners play, because you're a Mariners fan. And this was pretty early on in the season, so the Mariners did not look good, but I learned a lot about them. And we talked about that, we talked about, I can't remember the pitcher's name, but you're like, he's going to be a good pitcher. And now he is. He's a really good pitcher.
Yes.
We talked about J.P. Crawford looking lost. He doesn't look lost anymore. The Mariners really did everything you said they were going to do, which is pretty cool. But it ended up being that game where the Tigers pitcher pitched a no-hitter, and or a perfect game. I think
the Mariners got no hit 3 times this year.
Yeah.
They were also into somebody's no-hitter.
Because I think this happened in April, and might have been maybe. I think it was April, but that no-hitter happened because Candelaria was so good. He must have made. How they always say that a no-hitter or a perfect game occur because of one great play.
Yes.
In that one, it was at least 3. Candelaria was making that happen.
Right.
Obviously the pitcher was making it happen, and now he's getting Tommy John.
But Candelaria's defense is fantastic. Yeah.
Fantastic.
He was all over the place.
Yeah. I think he was also the only Tiger playing that day who ever got on base.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a super special player. You could just see he brings so much energy, and he's third base. He just gets everything, It's just,
And the only reason he ended up being a Tiger is basically third base was all blocked up because Chris Bryant was coming. So it was with Chris Bryant coming to third base for the Cubs, there was no way Candelaria was ever going to get playing time here.
Right.
Even if you switched him over to first base, Anthony Rizzo was there. There was a lot of players got traded from the Cubs farm system that got traded because there was just nowhere they were going to be able to play on the major league team. You would have had to be a shortstop. Yeah. That was the only place where there was an actual question for the most part.
Candelaria has turned into a must-have third baseman. He's great. And I think the Tigers are a great place for him. At least they're lucky to have him for sure.
Right.
However many games they won this year, it's because he's there. It really is, I think. So that's my non-White Sox question out of our discussion.
What's your White Sox question?
Okay, so we have a 27-year-old rookie in his very first game. He pitches a no-hitter. Wow. Okay. Now that led you to reflect on, and I'm with you. I'm interested in the mentality of that. Very interested in the mentality of that. So that led me to reflect first of all on Lucas Giolito and his COVID season perfect game.
Yes.
Right. How well did he come back from that? Didn't he don't you think he kind of leveled off a bit where he's still a really good pitcher? But
I think after the perfect game he did. But the thing about Giolito, I just saw there was a commercial that was on here maybe about an hour ago, and it involved Giolito's for Guaranteed Rate, the sponsor, the naming rights sponsor for the ballpark the Sox playing. And they had listed Lucas Giolito in 2018 was the worst pitcher in baseball. But now look at him. It was something like that. You know what I mean? But look at him now with some crap like that. And they were like, what made the difference? And, guaranteed rate, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what made the difference? A change of pitching coach made the damn difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, he literally isn't got whatever. I don't know what Don Cooper's issue was pitching, because he was here for like 20 years as pitching coach. But like, now that the pitching coach is different, the difference in Lucas Giolito is now Giolito every day can go out there knowing he's an ace pitcher and pitch like an ace pitcher. He will not throw a no-hitter or a perfect game every time, but he's going to keep the ball. He's going to keep his ERA low. He's going to walk very few people. He's going to get about 6 strikeouts a game, maybe more. And the commercial's literally running right now.
Yeah, isn't it for Gatorade or something like that?
No, it's for guaranteed rate.
Oh, it is for guaranteed rate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let's see.
Maybe it makes sense. Like they could be your new pitching coach.
Yeah, the commercial basically doesn't say a whole lot. It's like, he was the worst pitcher in the league. Now he's an all-star. Guaranteed rate. And it's like, what? But I really think the difference is now he has belief. He has belief in himself. No, he doesn't just have belief in himself. They changed pitching coaches. Right? Things are different. There's like Dallas Keuchel. There's veteran pitchers on the team he can bounce things off of. The same happened Carlos Rodon. He was legit one of the worst pitchers in baseball. Right. Also had a turnaround season. And it's that thing where some of it is, it's a different voice in your head explaining things about your mechanics to you.
Yeah.
Right? It's professional catchers behind the mound calling the right game for you. Right? Like, you're not going to be able to tell a guy, tell your catcher that you're just going to throw fastballs by everybody, because that's just not going to work all the time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes even bad teams can hit your fastball. You're going to have to pitch sometimes, right? Not just throw. Giolito is an example of a guy who, yes, he had a perfect game, and I don't think he went out there attempting to have another perfect game. Right. But now you can pencil that guy in for being like a number 1 starter every season at this point. I think he can do that. Rodon was the one that I wasn't sure I believed in, right? I need to see it from him because he was a disappointment for years. Right. But this year, he's getting that Giolito benefit. And I think his pitching coach is what I think is making all the difference.
So figuring rookies out, because I think that you were very prescient. So, whoever it was that everybody jumped all over him in the fantasy world to get him on their team. Okay, so wasn't this Yermin Mercedes as well?
Absolutely Yermin Mercedes. Yeah, and talk about falling apart. Mercedes came up with the world on fire, hit 1 million home runs, and everybody needed this guy. And it wouldn't be long before the league was just like, we can't throw it past, right? It's just not happening. So let's just give him junk. Let's throw junk at him. He's going to swing, right? Because he needs to stick, because he still has options. They can send him down when he slumps, but they didn't want to send him down because, wow, what a great story. Send him, let's keep him up here as long as we can, and it turned out they kept him up here until his bat was hurting the team. Then they sent them down, and holy crap, once they sent them down, then that dude wanted to retire. There was a one day that one day when he sent that message that was like, well, it's been real. I'm hanging him up, right? Like, what? Like, really?
Yeah.
And then he had a phone call with a couple people, and I think that's when he, decided maybe that was a little premature. Maybe I won't be hanging him up. Like, hang him up for what? Let's not hang him up. Let's try it again, because baseball is a hard mental sport.
Yeah.
When you start trying to really, when you measure yourself by your past accomplishments, you might find that you don't necessarily measure up fully. And that's hard. Right. So don't measure yourself against your past accomplishments. Measure yourself against how you feel today. Right? Today, how do you feel today? You don't have to hit a home run today. Make contact. Right? Just start by making contact. Hit the ball. If you're hitting the ball right at people, all right, you're just unlucky. Hit the ball right at people. Hit it right at people until you're not. Because this has happened to every great hitter's had a period where it was like there was always a guy standing wherever the hell you hit the ball. Or there were a whole lot of balls you swung through where you could have sworn like that for sure was a double, right? But you swung right through it. Or unlucky things like foul tips that go right into the catcher's glove on days when you just know you needed a hit. That will happen to you. Right. But the point of going back down is learning how to hit breaking balls. Right? Learning how to hit bad balls, learning how to lay off bad balls, and some of it's that. But he's not back up. So I think that he'll come back up in September. I'm willing to bet.
Oh, okay.
And I'm betting people are going to be thrilled to see him when he comes back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things about having a public meltdown when you're already kind of a darling, and then you have a public meltdown. Then you make it back, and everybody's like, "Oh, we love you," and you get the public hug.
Mercedes had the additional problem of he was up because other people were injured. Right? So he had to come up. They had to pull up. Like they were expecting the everyday DH in spring training to be Andrew Vaughn.
Right.
When Vaughn came up, Vaughn ended up playing left field, right? Because like Mercedes was hitting so well, you couldn't take Mercedes out of the lineup to put Vaughn at DH. So Vaughn went to left field because Eloy Jimenez was injured. He had a torn pec, right? So since he'd hurt himself, Vaughn is now an outfielder, but he wasn't expected to be. Right? Luis Robert got hurt, so now there's an extra spot. So like, oh, there's all these actual outfielders there, and there's not too many places you could put Mercedes. He had to be a DH.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then when guys started coming back and guys started like really, when Andrew Vaughn started turning it on, it became a thing where it's like now Mercedes is a liability. But once rosters expand a little bit, right? Like when that happens, Mercedes is going to be a guy you probably want here.
Okay.
To give some other guys some rest.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna be on the roster when the White Sox are in the playoffs. So I don't think there's any way around that.
Yeah. So we're saying, you mean don't give up the game. Work on your swing. Just work on your swing.
Yeah. Bide your time. Wait for the call because it's coming. It's gonna come. They're gonna call you up and they're gonna be like, we need you to if nothing else, be a big intimidating presence. You're gonna be the biggest intimidating singles hitter we've ever seen. Yeah. Right. Which is fine. It's fine.
Okay, so Tyler Gilbert got us talking about Yermin Mercedes.
Yep.
Got us talking about Lucas Giolito.
Yep.
And okay, now I'm gonna force an artificial connection to Tim Anderson.
Okay.
This is how that's gonna work. What I really want to talk about is Tim Anderson. So
okay.
This is how it's gonna work. Tyler Gilbert, rookie, very first game, throws a no-hitter. The very next day, people like you and me sit down and we record and we express our doubts that this is a sign of what his life is going to be.
Yes.
But we love the story. And I think that it is true that this is the kind of story that they will still be telling 20, 30 years from now.
Yeah. I love the story. I just don't want him to have the pressure of having to do it again.
No, not at all. But 20, 30 years from now, production crews are putting together, sort of the trappings of great stories. This is what we'll bring in, like we see all over the place. And there was a lot of appreciation shown for the Fox production team for what they did to make this Field of Dreams game be a great event. I mean, obviously you want it to be a great baseball game. You don't know if that's going to happen, but this has to be, stellar, right? And one of the many things that they did to make that happen was do a feature on Brian Bannister, which is the guy who had Field of Dreams, the Field of Dreams story.
Yes.
He was the guy who had one at bat in his career and got a hit. So what a story. Now, I don't think his road to the big leagues was anything like Tyler Gilbert's. I mean, his story is fascinating because he had so many injuries, and I think he'd even had broken neck vertebra or something like that. I mean,
I was thinking cancer, but that's not him, Cancer, but Dave Dravecki was cancer.
He was two separate, really devastating injuries. I mean, it's incredible that he was able to come all the way up to the major level and then get a hit.
Yes.
So that's like a brilliant Field of Dreams story. And I think that Tyler Gilbert's will be as well, no matter what happens to him going forward. And of course, we want him to have a great career. Right. But he is already 27. So there's some questions about
correct. Yes, he's not 21. He's not 21 or 22. He's 27 now. Yeah,
exactly. So we'll see. But all the best, and we're rooting for him. And I'm not saying we'll see I'm saying we'll see hey, it remains to be seen.
Particularly since he's also a pitcher for the Diamondbacks, and they're so bad that it's like, you know what, you just might end up being the third pitcher for this team. Yeah. You will probably make this team out of spring training next year, for crying out loud, because Lord knows they need it.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. He's well positioned. And I think the Diamondbacks are another really good example of a team that's two really hot rookies away from being, watchable, right? Because we're talking about even bad hitters being able to hit Triston McKenzie when he doesn't have everything pulled together yet.
Right.
But they're actually not bad hitters. I mean, relatively speaking, all these guys are really good hitters. They can hit pitchers. They can hit your pitches.
Right.
It's just, I think I'm watching the Diamondbacks and I'm thinking, every bad team is an assembly of really good players. It's just not the right assembly.
Yes.
That's what needs changing. And maybe
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. So Tyler Gilbert, man, but just thinking.
Miguel Cabrera is at 29.51 for hits.
Oh,
so he's like 49 hits away. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be hard to get in the rest of this season.
Right.
Next year
right.
He's going to be with the Marlins. He's going to be with the Marlins. If it's not at the start of the season, it will be by the All-Star break, by the trade deadline.
And the other thing is too, like in this game, the Detroit's losing to Cleveland 11-0. So it's like there is almost, again, the temptation is we're up by 11. We can give him something. I just wouldn't want if we can do it.
Yeah.
Triston McKenzie just threw that dude a fastball straight down the middle for a low strike. I'm happy with that.
Okay. You didn't throw him a curve, right? You're saying there was no curveball in that at bat.
Nope. Well, he's still pitching to him. That was the first pitch he threw.
Okay, so rooting for Tristan McKenzie, I totally get that, and I would do that too. Just because that's usually who I connect with. You connect to Charlie Brown, right? You don't even know who is hitting.
Correct.
You see the balls go by because it's Charlie Brown in the story.
It's Charlie Brown. I'm rooting for Charlie Brown here.
I'm rooting for Charlie Brown. But if I were Miguel Cabrera. And sometimes I think, I got that much going on. I could be like a real life version of Miguel Cabrera somehow, the Miguel Cabrera of ethicists, Who knows?
Yes.
Right? And I would want to legitimately earn that 500th hit.
If I were, now the other side of this is, if I'm Miguel Cabrera, I'm not sitting on 499. I might have swung at the first damn pitch he threw.
Yeah.
Right? Like you want it bad enough. You want to just get it over with.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know about
break the tension. Yeah. You gotta feel like
something's happened.
Coaster, okay. And you're all the way up at the top. You really are 499, and then you don't have the momentum to do 500, right? So
that is entirely what I think I would have done. He popped up. Miguel Cabrera popped up to short left field. I would have probably just come up there and whatever he threw at me, I would have been like, I'm swinging. Let's get this done.
Yeah. I would too. It's like last year when I turned 58 and I decided I'd just go ahead and be 60. What are we waiting for?
Yes.
What are we waiting for?
What is your Tim Anderson question?
All right. So okay. First of all, I don't know. I have two. I realized one of the reasons why I like sports. Now this isn't just baseball. I've always wondered what it is. What is it that is so compelling about sports? And I realized what it is you are watching a story emergent before you. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Nobody scripted it. Nobody can. They all go in there. All the players go in there with the mentality of exactly how the script is going to go. They already know the story, but then reality happens, right? And it is exciting. It is so exciting to see a story take place right before your very eyes.
Right.
Oh my goodness, and then when it's a great story, it's that's
phenomenal.
Why it's so memorable is because it's not, you didn't even read it in a book. I mean, you can read a book and it's a thriller and you don't know how it's going to end and you don't let anybody spoil it for you. Same with a television series or a movie or what have you. But with sports, nobody knows. Literally nobody knows, and it is exciting to be on that. It is exciting to see a story occur. Real time right before your eyes. And the Field of Dreams game was like that, and it was like that at three different points. For me, one was when Stanton hit a home run in a Stanton home run moment. It was like, wow, because I didn't think he would do it. I really didn't think it. I thought, okay, Stanton's strike out, man.
Because I've been disappointed in we've never really gotten the devastation that is supposed to be Stanton and Judge together.
That's right. And we
got a lot of disappointment in this.
We got to see it, and it was like, oh my! It was so exciting. It was, if the game had been finished on Stanton's home run, that would have been like the best story ever.
Yep.
Because we have longed to see it, and we got to see it. So, but it didn't end there. If the story had ended with the Yankees coming back to win the game, and in the bottom of the eighth like that, it was the top of the ninth. It was the top of the ninth. It was like, if that had been the story, that would have been an amazing story. Oh my goodness, it was such an amazing story. And so then it becomes an even like it becomes the most amazing story because you have these two great endings and they aren't the end, right?
Right.
Then there's Tim Anderson, like, oh, that iconic. We will always see those images of Tim Anderson running the bases.
Right.
We will always see those images of Tim Anderson crossing home plate. We will always, he has just become an always player, like for the rest of time.
Especially since, like, in the case of Tim Anderson versus the Yankees, like the White Sox are in first place, basically being the best team in the American League and always kind of playing with a chip on their shoulder. So, like, even when Stanton hits a home run, the White Sox aren't giving up, right? They're not conceding, right? They're not going to take a loss here. Right. They have a chance to come back and win this thing, and they're going to fight to do that. And that's what I like about Tim Anderson and the White Sox.
That's right.
You know, we don't care how many home runs you just hit. Let's go.
I'm sitting there thinking, oh no, because then the Yankees come back, right? And they take the lead, right? And the White Sox got to walk it off in the bottom of the ninth, right? But they got a little ahead of themselves.
Sure.
They pinch hit or pinch run for Eloy, I think. So he wasn't in. I think they'd already pinch hit or pinch run for Jose Abreu, so he wasn't in.
Right.
I'm like, oh no. Even if these guys get on base, the best hitters are gone.
Yes.
And then Tim Anderson, of course, he didn't.
And some of that because Eloy had just come back from an injury, so it's like, why risk further injury?
Right.
Abreu's been hitting the head like every other game in the past month. So we need him to sit out now.
Right. And I did wonder what Tony La Russa would have done. Like, would he have swapped those guys out with a 4-run lead and just let them like hang out and watch the field?
Yeah.
Or would he have kept them playing it? I don't know. We'll never know because their boss wasn't there. You know, they were just, oh my goodness. So I just wanted to say that by way of appreciation, to thank you to both teams.
Right.
But especially to the White Sox and to the baseball gods and to Tim Anderson. I was jumping up and down and saying to Steve, he's my second favorite player. My second favorite player. Did that. Now you know why he's my second favorite player. I was going carrying on. So, you know, it was great, right? So now here's the question for the Chicago person who gets to watch Chicago media and understands their team in depth, right? When he comes around and he's running towards I think it was actually as he was heading to first base. So he hits a home run. He knows that he just stops where he is, puts his bat down, and he takes off for first base, and he's going like this to his team.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that this is a thing that happens in baseball specifically. There's a lot of hand signals and gestures that are like kind of inter-team that we aren't really privy to, right? There's like messages they're able to send that they send to each other. But they discuss this stuff every day. Like, who knows like what the hell that means? And I've seen like it's the thing when the Dodgers are doing well and then they make claw signs and things. It's like, what the hell are they doing? But they're only talking to each other. And in a way, I kind of like it that we don't know. Like, I don't know. But I like it because it shows that they're talking about it. Yeah. They're talking about ways to stay together.
But that's totally not satisfying. And let me tell you why. So, you know, seriously, like, I blame the media.
Like, doing this, to me, this means like either we're hot.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the hand gesture you make when you're shaking water off your hands, but it's also like, woo, we are hot. You know, it's that. You know, so it's a little showmanship, I guess. But so it might have been that. It could have been that.
Yeah.
But I don't really know.
I'm going to say that the Chicago media is lame if they have not uncovered this in broadcast.
Well, they may have. I just might not have heard. Right? They might have. Right? Because the Field of Dreams game happened. It was a day game, I believe. So I would have been. Was it a night game?
Home yet. Yeah, it was a night game.
I don't think I was home because it was basically all done by the time I got home.
Yeah. It started at 6:00 your time, so it was early for you. Yeah. I thought about you. See, whereas I had a ton of grading to do this past week because it was final grades. Mm-hmm. And I hurt my back. I worked so hard, but I was going to be free to watch that game. Damn it. And I did. And it was worth it. It was so worth it. But you know, so this is something I didn't get a chance to tell you because, anyway, involved the fans, right? So when the Washington Nationals, they brought Gerardo Parra over and he started using Baby Shark as his walk-up tune. And they had the stands all together. So this was a single.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And I can't remember. Anyway, like this maybe a double.
Okay.
And then they had this going like this is a home run.
Yes.
Everybody in the stands was doing it. Everybody knew it. They were all in on it. But the media, they have to find these things out because it's the team doing it. Yes. So a few weeks ago, I had MLB Central on, and the guest when I had it on was Willie Adames.
Okay.
I stopped to watch it because I hadn't seen MLB Central in a while, and I wanted to know if they were still asking these guys what they had for breakfast.
Oh yeah, sure.
They did not ask Willie Adames what he had for breakfast, so apparently they finally gave that up. But they did ask Willie Adames why he goes like this when he gets on base.
Okay.
So, and the reason is it's a hilarious reason. The reason is that when he got to the Brewers, he asked, I think, the third base coach, so what do you guys do around here for a hand gesture kind of thing? I don't know what the actual, but it's that question, right?
Yeah.
And he said I think it was the third base coach just made it up on the spot. He says, oh, I don't know, do like a leopard. So now they're all like big cats out there.
Yeah.
Our Brewers are cats now. But how do we know this? Because MLB Central asked Willie Adames.
Yes.
If the Chicago media has not yet. Okay, so now we're gonna have to look for this because
they may have asked. I just don't know.
I asked Tim Anderson what this was about because it's a cool hand gesture.
Usually that means don't tell. If you do it like that gesture means don't tell someone something. That's like no, keep that to yourself. It's a big secret. Like
okay.
that's what that tends to mean, which could mean don't tell the Yankees how good we are. We don't want them to know, right? Don't tell them anything. Let's just show them.
Okay.
But in that case, Tim Anderson though, he walked off, so you didn't have to tell them. Like they knew now, game's over. Get back on the bus.
Okay.
Right.
So that's it. So people probably all over the world, except for me, know what this means.
It just depends on it depends on sort of the direction you're doing it, right? Like if you're doing this or if you're doing this, right?
Yeah, no, it was definitely this.
Yeah. That might be. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them anything about how good we are. They'll find out. They don't think we're good.
That one. I always knew zip it. So
because part of it is also it's New York, right? So you're playing New York. Everybody assumes that New York, by virtue of being New York, are going to be champions, right? Like this is one of the reasons people are so upset about your team having to trade players is New York set this expectation in the minds of every other team's fandom that why can't you be the Yankees? Why can't you pay to get better? Why can't we remain in contention every year? And no one understands. Part of the problem is New York does this kind of unrealistically, right? You notice that they aren't winning championships every year, yet they're paying, right? The Dodgers are about to find out that it is very expensive to keep teams like this together and not win.
Yeah.
Right? If it were only about division series, if the goal were to win a division and then everybody throw a parade for you, look, the Dodgers are on top of the world then, right? And the Yankees are going to be every other year on top of the world. But it's got to be the World Series is the goal.
Yeah.
So salaries are going to be a problem. And just because the Yankees and Dodgers don't seem to give a shit doesn't mean that your franchise shouldn't give a shit because truthfully, the Cubs and the Royals and the Astros, they already showed you can do this without having a $250 million payroll.
Right.
In fact, you should do it without having a $250 million payroll because right before you're ready is the point where now you're going to spend some money.
Right.
Right? When you're just about ready, you can't spend the money after you've won the World Series. If anything, the Marlins showed you should dump the roster after you've won the World Series. Dump the whole thing. Let everyone go wherever they're going to go. Get out from under quick because you're likely not coming back next year. Rebuild it. Yes, rebuild it. But the fan bases get it twisted because they watch what the Yankees do. Which makes other Major League Baseball players, they hear it too, right? We're going to play the Yankees. Here come the Yankees. And everybody, Yankees. In Chicago, the Bears are a football team. And I'm telling you, get up every morning since the end of the football season. Football ended in February, right? The Super Bowl happened in February. Every damn morning, there's a conversation about Tom Brady, who had just won a Super Bowl. So there's a period in which we're going to talk about Tom Brady because he did just win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
But once we're into March, we don't need to be talking about Tom Brady anymore because football's over. You know what else we need to talk about? The Dallas freaking Cowboys. Every day, there's a freaking Dallas Cowboys conversation. And Dallas Cowboys, they haven't won a Super Bowl since the 90s, 95 or some shit. They haven't won in so long. Why are we discussing a team that loses consistently? It's because from a marketing standpoint, you got to talk NFL because of how much money the NFL makes. You got to talk Dallas. You got to talk Tom Brady, right? Then we had to talk Aaron Rodgers for like every day. Aaron Rodgers conversation when Aaron Rodgers wasn't even in camp. Aaron Rodgers in Hawaii at a waterfall, and they talked Aaron Rodgers for 3 straight weeks. If you are a player for some other team, there's nothing more motivating than a chance to kick Aaron Rodgers in his nuts, because you had to hear this man's name every day when he hadn't even shown up to be with his team. And in a baseball context, if I were a baseball player and I would just tell my team, you know what, we're about to play the Yankees and I want to beat the socks off them.
Yeah.
I want to beat them. I want nothing but baseball media talking about how we struck out 12 Yankees. I want to talk about how we caught them stealing. I want to pull the hidden ball trick on the Yankees. I want to embarrass the New York Yankees because, damn it, even when the New York Yankees come in third in their division, every damn sports show starts off with New York talk.
That's right.
So if I'm Tim Anderson and we're about to walk these dudes off, right? I want the Yankees to know what I thought about them as they walk to the bus.
Okay.
In fact, I want the Yankees disappointed as they go to their bus, but I want to be in the White Sox team bus before them so they have to watch our tail lights the entire way down the highway. That's how petty I would be for the New York Yankees if I were any other team having to ever play the New York Yankees. I want the New York Yankees following behind me the whole damn way to the airport. I want to escort them to O'Hare every time they freaking leave. Because that's what it is. The Field of Dreams. You put the Field of Dreams game together, and the Yankees, they're not ahead of the Rays. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I get the history of the franchise, but the history of the franchise isn't the record of the major league team. Yeah. Right?
Right.
Like you picked, two storied franchises. I mean, you could have picked the Mets and the Phillies, right? I guess, right? You could have, I'm not saying the Field of Dreams game should have been the D-backs and the Mariners, right? Yep. But Dodgers, Giants, I could have lived with that. But you put the Yankees there. Yep. And I'm going to imagine this schedule was made up last year. And who the hell knew that the Yankees would be in 3rd or 4th place by the time this came up, right? Who knew?
They don't expect it, yeah.
Except by looking at recent history, I can guess it.
Yeah. I haven't seen the movie since whenever it was that it came out. And,
years.
I don't know if it's good or not. I mean, the clip they showed made it look kind of a little too sweet for my.
I watched that. I watched the movie years ago because everybody watched the movie years ago, and all I think about whenever I watch that movie, whenever the movie's mentioned, is how boring that movie is.
Oh, is it boring? Okay.
I find it boring. It's not my kind of baseball movie.
Yeah.
No, not my kind of baseball movie.
I mean, I love baseball stories, and I'm not. I mean, just based on the clips they showed during the game, I'm not like, oh, I got to go see that movie. If
Field of Dreams was remade, I would just want it remade with players who did have to steal bases and dive all over the place and do backflips. I want my Field of Dreams to be like Ozzie Smith and Lou Brock.
Yeah. If they were going to make they don't have to they don't have to remake the movie because the game was the best story ever. But I think that it had to be the White Sox because of the row of shoeless Joe Jackson in the movie.
Right.
It had to be the White Sox.
Yes.
And that means that pretty much the opponent had to be an American League team because it was going to be regular season. I mean, you could make the interleague, but then you have all the whole thing, and then you have people saying, "Well, we have." So
naturally, you get to the Yankees, right? But it could be the Red Sox. The Red Sox also first place.
There were probably Yankees players coming out of the corn in the movie, so I think they're.
Oh yeah! Oh certainly.
Yeah, and so that's what they were trying to recreate. Now that they
Yankees players, I think Tigers players. I think the players coming out of the corn were a variety of players, but yes, because of their 27 World Championships. Yeah, the bulk of the players coming out of the corn like baseball zombies.
But one of them had to have been Babe Ruth. Right?
Yes.
And one of them just had to have been Babe Ruth. I don't know how else you make that movie without having Babe Ruth.
Gehrig, Mickey Mantle.
Yeah. So White Sox Yankees, I mean, it was the most movie-driven choice.
Yes.
Right. But if they're going to redo it next year, obviously it's going to have to be National League. It's going to have to be.
I think now for our next podcast, we're gonna talk about remaking Field of Dreams, recasting it, and we're gonna put together the American League and National League coming out of the quarantines, so that we can have so it wouldn't be boring. We got to put I need like like legendary Pittsburgh Pirates outfielder who died way too damn young coming out of the outfield. Like stuff like that,
Yeah.
Like Willie Mays coming out of the outfield.
They all have to be dead. We can't have anybody who's still alive.
Like no living players. Yes.
They all have to be. Like,
I'll accept Roy Halladay coming out of the
absolutely.
The court. I will accept that.
Talk about a life tragically cut short. Let's have Roy Halladay come out and say do you want to be the star? You want to be the Kevin Costner character? Yeah, you'll be the Kevin Costner character. So you'll be like, Lisa will be coming to you and saying, Terry, there's somebody out in the field, and you'll go out there and it'll be Roy Halladay. And
yes. All right, check it out. Look, Roy Halladay's out here.
And he'll say to you, is this heaven?
Yeah, it'd be J.R. Richard and Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson. If Bob Gibson's on, if I come out of the house, if Lisa tells me to come out of the house, somebody's out there in the cornfield looking for me. I come out as Bob Gibson. I'm going back in the house.
Oh yeah.
I'm not hitting Bob Gibson. That's just not happening.
No, that's true. Although he might give you a little bit of a break because
he might. He might not. Bob Gibson gives nobody a break. Bob Gibson want to knock my head off with a baseball.
So let's work on this. Let's scribble up some notes about starting our Field of Dreams remake.
Yes.
But this Terry, this was a game. And the other, I know that I texted you. I think this will have to be our last topic, right?
Yeah.
Although I do have two. So let's see how this one goes. I know I texted you a number of times about Mouthwash Max.
Sure.
For Legion of fan, my favorite player is Max Scherzer, as we all know, and I'm actually kind of sad about the Nationals right now. It's kind of sad to see everybody kind of wiped out and sent elsewhere, but probably how Cubs fans feel. But really,
I was talking to a guy at the gym, like my downstairs neighbor. I saw him at the gym, and he is still not over this Cubs trade situation. Yep. So I was like, you just gotta be dead inside a little bit, like me.
Yeah, you
so
do.
You can just get past it. Like it's a thing that has to happen.
You do. Yeah, it has to happen. And that first day back, from the trade deadline, just that first day back,
This reminds me. Next episode, I'm gonna try to have another guest for us.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a friend of mine, my friend Jeff Smith, who sometimes produces other podcasts for me. Like he needs like baseball psychologists. He needs like to talk to people about baseball.
Okay.
So that he can process this Cubs loss that he's feeling.
Oh, okay.
He's good at the talking on the podcast.
Okay, let's get him then because I can save processing the Nationals until he's there.
Yes.
Meanwhile, my man Scherzer, who I love him. I love him better in Dodger Blue than I thought he would have looked a little weird with those eyes. And in the Padres like brown and gold, it just
Legion of fan. The thing you need to know about Max Scherzer, if you didn't already know, is that Max Scherzer has two different colored eyes.
Yes, and one of them is very blue.
Yes.
So if you put him in Padres brown and gold, it would have looked really weird.
Yeah.
The same way that we had to get Mookie Betts out of Boston because he looks red, but he looks awesome in blue. And he would not have looked good in brown, but he looks really good in blue. So I'll take it. Yes, Dodgers all the way, man. And I'm calling him Mouthwash Max because there was another pitcher with the Dodgers this season who left a bad taste in a lot of our mouths.
Yes.
So his new
whose story just gets worse and worse by the day. Holy crap!
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought Max might have washed him out of our mouth and the bad taste, and maybe not, but he comes, and you know what? The Field of Dreams story was so great. I don't even remember that story, and it was epic. It was epic. Scherzer's first start as a Dodger. It was epic. And all winding up with him getting a curtain call after 7 innings. I mean, no, that's not supposed to happen.
It's not supposed to happen. The other issue too is that one of the things that ends up possibly happening to the Dodgers down the line is they have to make up for the amount of money they have tied up in the player that now they can't play.
Right.
While also having Max Scherzer and Tristan Trey Turner and Cody Bellinger, who's effectively a part-time player now. Like there's big decisions that are going to have to be made for the amount of money tied up in some of these guys. Who some of them are luckily young superstars who aren't making $22 million a year like Jason Hayward is. But like, man, this is going to be a problem out there.
Right.
With $300 million tied up in a guy you can't play.
Where do you put Scherzer next season? Where do you put him?
if Max Scherzer wins a World Series with the Dodgers this year, someone next year is going to someone who's close is going to want Max Scherzer. Like Tampa Bay could use a Max Scherzer, right? Houston could use a Max Scherzer, right? Like the teams that are going to be that are very, if they don't win it this year, there are going to be some teams that are in contention who are going to be able to afford Max Scherzer. You know, a little bit of bump in payroll, you can afford Max Scherzer. You know
where I can see him. Not that I
can see him in Chicago.
I could see him in Philly.
Could they be a Max Scherzer away? Because it's their offense. I think their offense needs one more piece.
Yeah.
But a Max Scherzer, Aaron Nola pitching staff isn't bad at all.
Right.
That's not bad at all. Because Aaron Nola's your ace there, but Aaron Nola's not a superstar pitcher.
Right.
You know, he's done the Lucas Giolito thing, right?
Right.
He's practically reinvented himself to become effective. Yes. But dominant is what you need. Dominant. To get to a World Series, right? And I don't think that Max Scherzer is dominant. I don't think he is.
He is. Yeah. So he comes in and he sits there with Nola and Wheeler, and you've got a reasonably good roster. Sorry, you got a reasonably good rotation there. So that's where I see him, and he could rock red. He'd be all right in red. So that works.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
and I think personally he might be going to a National League team makes him face one less hitter. I like older experienced pitchers going to the National League to face one less hitter, you know, to possibly have to get the pitcher up too. So that extends your career a little bit. Going to the American League, you're going to face an extra hitter who might, in your old age, when that velocity comes off your fastball, this might be a bad situation, you know.
Yeah. So you know, that wasn't even a question really so much as I love Max Scherzer and
Sure.
Oh my goodness, that game was great. I didn't get to see his start in Philly. I don't know how it was, but I do know that I was a little bit concerned, and I didn't even know why. I mean, why was I concerned about Scherzer? I was a little bit concerned that he was going to struggle his first night in LA.
In LA, yeah, sure.
I've seen him struggle a bit this year. And
it did. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he's not getting younger.
Right, he's not.
He's not getting younger, and that's when the velocity dips a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, and you gotta like put a little extra on it while you're also trying to not injure yourself. The balls got changed. The balls are different now mid-season.
Yeah.
You got to make an adjustment mechanically. This is a problem for a lot of guys.
Okay. Yeah. No doubt. And somehow he's just managing now to just outsmart hitters, which can't be hard for him because he's very, very smart.
Right.
So phenomenal. Who did he beat that night? Did he beat the Astros? He beat the Astros, didn't he?
It might have been the Astros.
Yeah,
I don't remember, but it might have been the Astros. Sure.
I have to look that up. I'm sorry I didn't write the story up because I should have, because it was that great a story, and I let it go by, and I let a greater story come in.
There's a lot of ethics work in your life, though. You can't write everything down.
That's true. Sometimes you just have to let life be.
Yeah. You should make your class like write about the ethics of baseball in a variety of ways, and then
writing about and teaching about sports ethics would be such a dream, such a total dream. But also,
so now you know what to do next semester. Twist this class into baseball ethics.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, it's really hard to get. Well, anyway, that's a whole thing. We don't need to get into the artistic of university life.
The problem with academia.
Yeah, the problem with academia. You know, if I were going to go back to school, though, which I'd love to do, and probably won't. But if I were going to go back,
you're a professional student, yeah.
I would be pursuing at least a master's level degree in sports psychology. It's so interesting to me. And that was the other question I wanted to ask you is: suppose you are Jacob deGrom's therapist.
Okay.
What are you telling him these days?
I'm not telling Jacob deGrom anything. Jacob deGrom is already probably the most put together patient I would have ever had. For Jacob deGrom to not be pulling out what little hair he has on that Mets team, the way they were playing before the trade deadline, like Jacob deGrom just goes out there to murder hitters. That's all he's doing, right? He's not thinking about how many runs he's getting. He's not thinking about whether or not he's getting wins. He's just going out there to strike guys out, and he's leaving. Jacob deGrom is a serial killer, right? Jacob deGrom is a sociopath with a baseball in his hand and a glove on the other. He is not. He's not a man who feels things. He's not a man who cares about things. He's a man who just goes out there and assassinates hitters and leaves. He leaves. If his team gets runs and they got to come and tell him later on that he's won. Hey, Jacob, you got the win tonight. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Jacob, you took a tough loss tonight. Thank you. It's the same thing. The man doesn't feel things. He can't. Because if he did, he'd be throwing baseballs at his own teammates in the shower is what he'd be doing. If he had the ability to feel anything, there'd be some Mets with broken wrists. He'd be putting them in chokeholds in the parking lot. He'd be so angry at these guys over the last 3 years of failure, the way that they have performed for him. So I believe he's a serial killer. He's on the FBI's most wanted list. They don't know, they can't find him because he's literally just standing there on the mound. He's standing on the mound of Citi Field. They have no idea he's there. They just don't know that he's right under their noses. They can't find him. They can't find him. They don't know. They don't expect him to be taking the ball every fifth day, and yet he does. And right now he's injured. He's injured, and I'm not sure he's actually injured. I think he's just resting. Yeah. I think he's just recharging his batteries until it's time to murder again. That's what he's doing. This is what on Criminal Minds they call that a serial killer's dormant period. This is his dormant period. They're going into a period of dormancy where there are no murders being committed, and you don't know whether. You don't know if he's in jail. You don't know if he died. You don't know if he had a car accident. You don't know if he's paralyzed. You have no idea what it is. But for some reason, there's no murders happening right now. They keep telling us he's injured. But has anybody seen him walk into a hospital? Anybody seen him doing any rehab? But no one's seen him doing any of these things. He's just sitting at home in a chair, probably made of like human bones, right? It's probably made of human bones. It's probably made of nothing but wrist bones. It's a chair made of nothing but wrist bones from batters who've had bats just like fall out of their hands mysteriously, right? That's what it's made up of, broken bats and wrist bones. He's sitting in his chair, biding his time. He'll be back. He'll be back in about 18 days. He'll be back. But he's got a clock. It's one of those big like hourglasses with the sand. He doesn't even have time on it, right? He has a dog that barks when it's time for him to leave the house to go to the ball game to pitch. He doesn't have clocks in his house. Jacob deGrom. He's not a regular person. He's not. The dog will bark every fifth day when it's time for him to go to the ballpark and pitch. That's what Jacob deGrom does. That's how it works. If I'm his therapist, I'm not telling him anything. I have nothing to say to him. But he's easy. He's easy going. You know, Jacob, why don't you feel anything? Well, I have to start feeling something. I haven't been feeling anything all this time. Why would I start now? For what? I don't want to feel. If I go to the Phillies, I got to feel things. If I go to the Braves, I got to feel stuff. You know, if I sign with the Cubs, oh my God, everybody feels something in Chicago. Can't have that. No. Don't want it. I'll stay right here in New York, not feel anything, and I'll go. They tell me I'm effective. I wouldn't know. I don't pay attention to anything. The only thing I ever see when I'm up there is batters walking back to the batter's box. That's all that matters to me. That's it.
That's the batters.
That's it. He just sees the backside of batters walking to the batter's box, walking back to the clubhouse, walking back to the dugout. That's what he sees.
So does he have a tattoo?
So there's many tattoos. His tattoos are all those hash marks of guys who struck out. He's got his arm, his torso is covered in these hash marks. It's like a Batman villain, you know. That's what he is. He's got like all these hash marks across him, you know. Every time he walks back to the clubhouse, he's the first one in there. He goes in there before anybody else is in there, and he just takes a magic mark and makes another couple little marks, you know. That's what Jacob deGrom does. He's not telling him. No one can tell him anything. Nope. He can't be. He's not unhappy. Because if he were able to be unhappy, he'd be pissed, right? And we ain't seen him piss. I ain't seen him punch a water cooler. I ain't seen him throw a bag of bats onto the field. I ain't seen him slash nobody's tires. Like, nah. Anybody else would have done that in his case. No one's doing it. You haven't heard the guy have a drinking problem. Right? Like you haven't heard him like he hasn't even thrown a fit in like a bagel shop. He's done none of these things that anybody else would have done. No one's found him in his Lamborghini on the side of the road, having wrapped around a light pole and then tried to walk home. Like nothing. Nothing has happened with Jacob deGrom. It's just Jacob deGrom, a giant hourglass, and his dog. His dog is one of those dogs that has like, you know, weird hair or something, right? Like one of those like giant mastiff dogs with like a Scottish Terrier mustache, you know? And beard. What it is. That's my Jacob deGrom thoughts.
I'm so afraid I'm going to start coughing up wildfire smoke. I mean, oh my goodness.
His therapist has the easiest job in baseball.
Indeed. See, I've always wondered like why it is that Scherzer is, I mean, it's apparent by the numbers that deGrom is the better pitcher in terms of the entertainment factor. Scherzer is much the better pitcher.
Yeah.
And I always thought Jacob deGrom was just a little too bland to be the best pitcher in baseball.
But that's all he does.
Now I understand it.
Yeah.
Now I
He
know
is.
why.
He's too like he's so bland. He can't like he's Mike Trout bland, right?
Yeah,
He's like you can't make him your household name guy because he'll do nothing to support it.
Right.
Right. Other than throw the baseball. That's what he'll do. He'll go out and throw the baseball.
Right.
He won't be interesting to put a commercial around. What are you gonna sell? Like pillows. You can sell mattresses.
You're gonna sell guaranteed rate.
Jacob deGrom, right? Jacob deGrom can sell a mattress because he's just sleepy Jacob deGrom. He can sell those foot inserts to make your feet really comfortable. He can sell those, I bet. But you can't do that thing they like to do with baseball pitchers. They get these commercials. It's like killer instinct baseball pitchers. Yeah. And it's like their wild mustaches, their fiery eyes and shit.
Yeah.
No, that ain't Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, you could take
Scherzer's dead eyes.
I think they have actually taken Scherzer's eyes and just made billboards out of them. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can do that. Some of these guys. You can't do it with not deGrom.
Nope.
You make a billboard with Mike Trout's face on it. Mike Trout might as well be Bryce Harper's face. Who knows? I don't know. Like, you can remember what he looks like. You know?
Yeah, there was a time when Jacob deGrom had that hair, right?
Yes.
And that gave him a something.
Yeah.
They gave him a hair thing.
Yeah.
You know, and all the kids, and he wanted to cut it so bad, but all the kids had the caps with like the Jacob deGrom hair.
Yep. And Noah Syndergaard had the hair, like Noah Syndergaard, his Thor hair. Yep.
Yeah, but he's kind of somehow disappeared. So.
Right, because he's perpetually hurt. Yes.
Yeah, professionally hurt. Exactly.
Yeah, he's professionally hurt. Like he's now just hurt forever. Professionally. Yeah. He'll come back at some point, allegedly. I feel like it's like the Matt Harvey thing. Like, well, that dude was really good. Now he just isn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Whatever happened, yeah.
Part of that might be Jacob deGrom. There can only be one. Jacob deGrom makes sure they're hurt. That's what it is.
Well, you just turned him into the best player in baseball, because you just uncovered the incredible churning reality that is Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's obvious. It's clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Jacob deGrom has to think that way because if he doesn't, his team is in trouble.
Yeah.
For how much they've let him down.
Yeah. Perennially in trouble. Do we have
absolutely
bias both on the injured list now?
They might both be, in fact.
I think yeah, and I had a Mets game on the other night. It was like, wow, Michael Conforto actually hit the ball. Yay. So,
and you needed Conforto to hit the ball because no one else could.
Yeah, I guess
Pete Alonso's the only dude not slumping.
It looks like we had a Conforto drought over there, and then he finally hit a ball. So everybody's like super excited. Yeah. He'll hit another one. You know?
I get excited for Pete Alonso to do anything now. All right, go Pete Alonso. No, they're not all going to do it at the same damn time.
I remember at the beginning, just preseason conversation, everybody, possibly even us, I think us too, we're talking about how the NL East was going to be so competitive and it was going to be so exciting. And I was looking at the standings yesterday, and I'm like, the NL East is very competitive. It's who can stay the furthest above 500.
Yes.
For the longest period.
And remember, what my concerns at the beginning of the season were all the money, all the spending the Mets were doing.
Mm-hmm.
The trouble always comes down to putting that together into a winning package.
Yes.
Right? It becomes really difficult to do.
Yes.
Right? There's a lot of salaries for a lot of guys who don't do everyday make contact, get it done baseball. It's a lot of guys who home run hitters and guys who you need to constantly stay at the top of their game. Because if Jeff McNeil and Conforto aren't at the top of their game, they're not good.
Right.
They're not good enough, right? If you have Pete Alonso in a slump, that's a good chunk of the power on your team right there.
Right.
If he's slumping, you have a problem, right? And then you got Lindor. When you signed Lindor, I was thinking, wow, that's a lot to sign Lindor for. And Lindor's not a power guy. Like he's a good man. He's an exciting player, but his defense is what's spectacular.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
So and then you got Javier Baez, who's like Streaky McStreakerson.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is gonna be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cash.
And then it ended up not being interesting because they both went on the injured list.
Yes. Meanwhile, the Braves and the Phillies are battling it out.
Right. Which is a fun battle. I really did have the Phillies. Like, to me, August is the month when that come from behind dark horse that nobody saw coming comes.
Right.
And I thought that would be Philly. And I think it is. I think I'm actually right about that, but not in the way that I wanted to be. I thought that they were going to surge forward with this really great winning record.
Right.
And instead, they're holding steady with some teams that are so underperforming that it's embarrassing. So that's not what I wanted. I don't mean the Giants in this case, because I mean the come from behind in August kind of way that maybe it's the Reds.
Yes.
Maybe the Reds are the ones that are going to do that for us. The Giants, I don't understand. I don't understand them. I don't understand a team that's winning almost. They're almost at 666.
Right.
How is that? How is that possible that any team could be there?
Well, part of it is the Dodgers keep not the Dodgers. Well, I think the Dodgers are damaged by Mookie Betts being injured and that $300 million pitcher not being there, making them have to go out and get Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. Right. But also the Padres, 3 times this year, having to put Fernando Tatis Jr. on the injured list. Like some of this keeps the Giants in contention because the bad luck your opponents are having, the bad luck your rivals are having in your division. And then you got to just beat up on the Rockies and beat up on like the Diamondbacks. Beat the Rockies, beat the Diamondbacks. When you play them, beat them. Right? Don't give them a break. Right. You know?
Yeah, those aren't off days for you. You win.
No.
You win. Yeah. All right. So it's really not. I mean, the Giants are very good. We don't mean to say the Giants aren't very good. They're obviously very, very, very good. It's just that they're in this stratosphere that no team can achieve, because the Dodgers and the Padres have not been able to challenge them.
They've done if the Cubs had done what the Giants are doing, beat the team in front of you, beat the bad team in front of you, then the Cubs wouldn't have traded all those players. Right. They wouldn't have had to trade the core if they were able to beat the bad team in front of you.
Right.
And that's what the Giants do.
Right.
You know,
got it.
Take advantage of what the other team gives you, and you'll stay in contention.
So, which NL team is going to the World Series? Who's your pick?
For NL teams, it's looking. So, if the Padres are healthy, I think it's going to be the Padres.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to be the Padres. But if it's not the Padres, it's the Dodgers. I think no matter what, the winner comes out of the West. It's either the Dodgers or the Padres.
Okay, so they're going to beat the Giants they're going to, one of those two, Dodgers or Padres, they're going to meet each other in the wild card.
Right.
Whoever wins that is going to meet the Giants.
Right.
And beat the Giants.
Right.
In a short series.
That's what I think is likely to happen.
Okay.
Because I don't see the Braves, as much as I like the Braves, I don't see the Braves beating the Dodgers.
Yeah, I don't either.
If it was just a Scherzer trade, that would be different. Yeah. But it's the depth of bats on that team is the kind of advantage that the White Sox, I believe, have by having Kimbrel and Hendricks on their team. It's the depth that they made sure they had.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'm with you there. I was kind of thinking Dodgers as well. Who do you see from the AL in the World Series?
In the World Series, the White Sox in the World Series. And if the White Sox have a problem, it's Houston.
Not the Rays?
I don't think it's the Rays. No. The Rays lost Tyler Glasnow. So their pitching took a hit. Right? And that dude was awesome. So I think that problem there is one that this year I think hampers.
Okay.
Like I'd be willing to pick the Rays over the Red Sox, right? But I don't pick them to beat the White Sox to get there.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So but again, it's the pitching that's the issue. I think that it's the Red Sox over the Rays in general, but I could see the Rays beating them. You know what I mean? If they beat them, I would not be surprised by that.
Okay.
Right? But I think that's the problem you're going to have there. And it's not, I wanted the Blue Jays to be there, and I don't think they will. I think it's really going to come down to who's going to meet, when it comes down to who's going to meet the White Sox, pitching is going to have to matter. And I'm not sold on the Boston pitching staff, I think the loss of Glasnow on the Rays pitching staff is significant for them.
Yeah. And then the gain of Sale on the Red Sox.
And the Red Sox got Sale back, yes.
So, at the beginning of the season and even during COVID, we were fantasizing about the shift in the AL East from a Red Sox-Yankees rivalry to a Jays-Rays rivalry.
Yes.
We wanted that. Yes. We almost got it. The Red Sox
almost got it.
Or other.
I think we're a year away. We're still a year away.
Yeah.
And with the Jays, it is entirely putting together a dominant pitching staff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really it. Right now, they have kind of a middle-of-the-road pitching staff, right? They have a pitching staff that's okay, but not a pitching staff where two pitchers are going to get you wins.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what they need.
My favorite teams to watch right now are the Jays and the Rays. I pretty much am drawn to it every time. I think, well, which game should I watch? Oh, that one, Jays, Rays, either against each other or whatever. I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah, the Blue Jays are capable of throwing out 4 guys named Jay Happ, right? They're capable of throwing out 4 guys named Rich Hill, right? And like that, you don't need 4 Rich Hills, right? Having a Rich Hill is not a problem for you, but you need 3 guys much better than Rich Hill to go out there to put some fear in somebody, and they haven't been able to find those guys. Right. I think that's really their issue. Their offense is fantastic when they're all hit, right? They can come at you from a variety of ways and score runs on you. Okay. But if they scored 6 runs, they're giving up 7. You know, if they score 4 runs, they're giving up 5.
Yeah. All right. So that's the problem, isn't it? It's just that little bit of an asymmetry, we'll call it. Okay, so I can totally get on board with the Dodgers White Sox World Series. I told you that earlier in the week, and that will be. I will not know until halfway through the first game who I'm rooting for. I won't even know. But my heart will just be. My heart will be beating in a certain way for a certain team, and then I'll know. I mean, I would be more. I would have been White Sox all the way until Scherzer went to the Dodgers.
Sure.
You know. But I think I want to see the Dodgers play all the time just because of who they have. It has to be fun. It's going to be fun every time you watch them. The White Sox, I thought were slipping a bit, and it was because, to me, slipping meant falling below 600.
Sure.
I didn't think was which I didn't think was a good sign in that division.
Right.
But they got Robert and Jimenez back, so
right.
I'm feeling pretty good about the White Sox, and they have a high that they can ride for a long time.
Absolutely.
At the end of that Field of Dreams game. Yeah.
But that's the way they've been all season, though, right? Like they've hit all season long. They've hit, they've played, they haven't quit. They've been in all these games. They rarely get blown out.
Right.
You know?
Right. And they have Kimmel now, too.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, has long golden locks. I did not know that.
He's not gotten his COVID haircut.
Yeah, no, it's really nice to see. With Glasnow down, we needed another Prince Charming, and he can he can totally be Prince Charming. All righty then. Well, we should wrap because we've been blabbing for a while, and it's been great. It's been great. All right, so we have. Let's go on record. Let's just say that's what we think. Dodgers, White Sox, and then we'll be talking about this in September a lot. So that's
absolutely.
Cool. And so we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Right.
And then that's what we'll do. And
fantastic.
Then there is just so much. There's kind of the pits, but we can fix that. So turn into the love.
Turn into the love, everybody. See you, Beth.
All right. See you next time. Bye.